Hey guys, and welcome to this week's episode of D3 Live. So you have to excuse me as there's a new setup here. I'm not quite fully adjusted, so if the video doesn't look quite up to quality, hopefully it will be next week. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about the Microsoft Kinect. So it's just now come out recently, and I think it's a good time to go ahead and talk about it because there are a lot of people who have questions, and a lot of people are really trying to consider whether or not it's worth spending the money. So to recap, the Kinect is an add-on for the Xbox 360 that basically uses motion sensing, microphones, and several cameras to actually go ahead and track you. So unlike the Wii or the PlayStation Move, where you have a handheld controller that kind of detects motion, the Microsoft Kinect actually will go ahead and films you and actually makes actually detects your body in real space. Which theoretically should be a lot more accurate. So instead of just moving your hands, you can move your entire body. And we've definitely seen some of the advantages of this in some of the games, such as Dance Central. Now there are also some disadvantages of the Kinect. Now the main one is the price. Now where you can go ahead with the Wii, and, if you buy a Wii, it automatically comes with a remote. The PlayStation Move is only about $100 with the bundle. However, Kinect does cost you $150. However, on the other hand, it's one Kinect. It's not like you have to buy a bunch of controllers. So, while a lot of people kind of complain about the price, I think it's about right. Personally, I mean, obviously, if it goes down a little bit, that'd be nice. But as far as how much, $150, I think that's okay, considering that you don't have to buy any more controllers or anything like that. You just plug it into your Xbox and you're good to go. So some of the really cool things about Kinect, and a lot of it has to do with the potential, in my opinion. Now, right now, obviously, it's just now launched, so there aren't a ton of games. However, the one that I really, think that is probably the best one is going to be Dance Central. So this one is actually very similar to a rock band or a Guitar Hero, except with dancing. So, you actually go ahead and you have different dance moves, which obviously, a lot of people, absolutely fail at it and, look really stupid. But it really gives you a great opportunity to show off how well Kinect works. So it actually really does do a fantastic job of tracking your body. So as you actually, you pull all the moves, it'll actually, can tell if you're actually doing it or, you're not. So I think that's really one of the games that shows off how well Kinect can actually work. And I'd really love to see once Kinect, gets a little bit fleshed out, maybe get some updates. I really would like to see the kinds of games that Kinect will feature, because that's really going to be the main point, in my opinion, with the Kinect. If we don't see a lot of really good games, so if we don't see big budget games like Gears of War or Call of Duty or Halo or some of the big franchises, if we can see those come over to the Kinect and actually give real Kinect controls as opposed to using the Xbox 360 controller, I think that would work really well. Now, as far as how they would do that, that's beyond me. But of course, that's that's the developer's job. So I'm sure they could come up with something. So overall, there's a lot of good things and bad things about the Kinect. One of the major things that a lot of people don't realize is that it takes up a lot of space. So if you're in a cramped area, if you're in a small bedroom, or maybe you don't have a whole lot of room in your living room or whatever your Xbox is, you might not even be able to use the Kinect. So really, the Kinect is really just likes as much room as possible. Really, if you can get make 8 foot, 10 foot of open space, it really does help. So one thing I do want to mention about the Kinect that some people are finding out after they buy it and they can't use it is that you really do need quite a bit of space. Otherwise, it really won't be able to pick up on you really that well. However, still, I do like the Kinect. I think there's a lot of potential there. If you're considering buying one, if you don't have an Xbox, probably the best way to go would be to go ahead and buy one of the bundles. So you can buy either the 4 gigabyte or the 250 gigabyte Xbox 360s. You can go ahead and get it in a bundle, which definitely does help the price a little bit. However, if you already do have an Xbox 360, I really can't recommend it right now. I think that it would probably be better to go ahead and wait for some games to come out. Because obviously it does cost $150, and that's a lot of money considering that there really aren't a great amount of games. There are some kind of decent ones, but most of them kind of tend to be party games, and really, in my opinion, most of them are not worth the $50 asking price. So, if you don't have an Xbox, now would be a pretty good time. You can go ahead and buy a new Xbox with a Kinect bundle. However, if you already have an Xbox and you're not really totally sold on a couple of the games, then it probably would be better to wait for more games and maybe even a price cut. Okay, so for the second segment of D3 Live, we will be taking live questions. So as always, every episode of D3 Live is filmed in front of Blog TV, and we've got a lot of people in here today, so we'll go ahead and just take some questions and kind of just discuss Kinect a bit. Do I expect Microsoft to do better with Kinect than the Nintendo did with Wii? It's kind of a complicated question. I think right now the Wii is not doing so well, and so I think immediately, I think Kinect is going to do pretty well. But over the long run, as far as, I think the Wii was just so successful for so long, just as far as the units go, like how many they sold, how many people had them, I don't think it's going to even come close to the Wii. However, I do think that there's a lot of potential behind Kinect, especially there's been a lot of, people talking about it. Microsoft's done a really good job of getting, everyone knows what Kinect is, or at least quite a few people do. So we'll kind of have to see. I don't really think it'll, outsell the Wii, as far as overall, after, several years, but I think it's got a lot of potential. What is better, Wii, Kinect, or PlayStation Move? That's kind of a difficult question. I think the Wii has a lot going for it as far as it's the only one with the actual pack-in. So, you actually buy a Wii, and you're going to go ahead and get the remote. So, I think that can go a long ways for, getting people into it and everything. And the Wii remote, it works pretty well. It's pretty decent. The PlayStation Move is okay. I just am not a huge fan of needing a camera and the controllers when it's really not all that much more accurate than the Wii. So really, I would probably pick Kinect. I will just go ahead and just say this right now. I'm more of a hardcore gamer. I'm a really big fan of, like mouse and keyboard, or, a gamepad, like, on the Xbox, the PlayStation. So that's really the way I like to game. However, I could definitely see a lot of potential in Kinect. I think that there's a lot of different games, really some unique and kind of interesting things, just the way that, on the iPhone, the iPod Touch, it opened up so many new different games as far as the touchscreen and the accelerometer. Well, I think that same kind of thing can come over to the Xbox with the Kinect, with all kinds of really unique titles. Do I think the Kinect is going to do better than Apple? I don't think so. I think the Kinect is going to do pretty well, but, Apple's, they're ridiculous. They make so much money, it's not even funny. Is Kinect going to be in different colors or only black? Actually, I believe it's only black right now. I don't know, I don't think they'll really ever put it into different colors. They might, but I don't think there's a whole lot of point as far as just something that would be sitting there, but hey, who knows? Do you think calibration will be hard? That's actually a good question. Like I kind of touched on earlier, one of the big cons against Kinect was the calibration, how much space you need. I think that the calibration is also a little bit annoying because it actually has to learn who you are and all that kind of stuff. However, from what I've seen, Microsoft has done a good job of programming it where it's not going to be some long ordeal. It gets you into the game fairly quickly. Do I think Kinect will revolutionize the Wii and get Nintendo to alter the Wii 2 because of it? That's a good question. I don't know. I think that really, to be honest, I think Nintendo is really pretty far along with the Wii 2. I would probably expect to see it, in probably next year. So I don't know if there's actually time for them to really change it based on, Kinect is just now coming out. But Nintendo is really, really good, and they obviously have known about Kinect for quite a while. So I wouldn't actually be surprised if we do see some sort of, Kinect accessory, or maybe connected to the Wii for the next Wii 2. I think that there is a lot of potential for Microsoft, or rather Nintendo, to go ahead and expand out and take a look at some of the things that the competitors are doing. What do you think the Kinect will have an influence on Apple to create a unique product? Apple is kind of, they're kind of hard to watch. Apple will go ahead and take a look at some technologies, and sometimes they go, yeah, we want that, no problem, and all of a sudden, you'll see it a couple years later. For example, capacitive touchscreens, they were one of the first to really adopt it. A lot of the different things Apple took and everybody else took after it. But on other things, like, for example, Flash, it's even looking like USB 3, Apple's kind of, holding back. They're like, well, we'll take a look. Indeed, also 3D screens. So, I don't know if we're ever going to see something like that. I think that the iPhone, the iPod Touch, and the iPad definitely do have the potential with cameras and all that kind of stuff to do a sort of Kinect style, but I'm not so sure exactly how full-featured it will be. Will Kinect have video chat for live parties? Yes, Kinect does have video chat. I believe it works through Windows Live Messenger. It works pretty well. Obviously, you've got cameras there, you might as well use it. But it's kind of a secondary feature, considering that obviously, everyone most likely is going to have a webcam or a laptop or even an iPhone or iPod Touch to use a webcam with. So I think it's going to be kind of a nice extra feature, but it's not going to be, something to sell the device at all. Do I think there will be problems with Kinect? Absolutely. I mean, when technology first comes out, there's always going to be problems with it. Like I said, I've said this a lot. I think this is going to be one of the big things is the space. There's not a whole lot of space that you get, that you actually have to move around with Kinect. And I think that's going to be a big problem for a lot of people. For example, a lot of rooms, a lot of stuff, you just won't be able to use it, which that's kind of a big deal. But there are, of course, going to be a lot of problems with the first thing of technology. There might be, it might break, it might not work right, but really I wouldn't be too worried. I mean, they're obviously going to keep updating everything, so really, I really wouldn't worry too much about it. There might be a few minor problems here and there, but Kinect overall is a very solid piece of hardware. So anyway, guys, that's it for this week's episode of D3 Live. So if you enjoyed, feel free to subscribe. I do these every Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, always talking about tech topics and all that kind of stuff. And of course, we'll post a video, full recap of it after it's done. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching.